Welcome back my darlings, and thank you for joining me for another video. This one's a bit of a unique situation I found myself in. It's a real world review of 6 months later for the Turtle Wax Flex Wax, which I did on that car. So yeah, it hasn't been washed in that 6 months either, so there's no interference with the product. I'm going to show you what the car looked like at the end of the previous detail, and you can see that on the screen now. See what the beading was like as well. It was really good condition. It was a new car, and the finish was lovely. Flex Wax was applied as a drying aid, so I sprayed it on and spread it around with the drying towel and buffed off. And yeah, now I'm going to see how it's lasted. And also, because I was very fortunate to do their previous car as well, which was also a Seat Leon FR estate. The second part of the video is just going to be a bit of a comparison in the interior as I go give those clean. I'll do those side by side. Might be interesting to some of you, may not be, but if you like detailing cars, you might like cars, so see how it's changed. Right, enough waffle, enough intro. Let's get on. Alright, let's get this show going. First up, the wheels, and I'm going to start off with a bit of built hammered touchless, letting that dwell for about 5 minutes or so while I fill up the buckets, and then hitting it with the pressure washer to shift as much of the loose debris as possible. And the touchless I found really does help, and it's the same for any cleaning snow foam, so auto foam or the new G1 or CarPro Lift, for example. Anything that's got a good cleaning ability will help. I'm then spraying on the built handle auto wheel, letting that dwell, and I put Anachem Purge on the tyres to help break down the grime on that, and I'll give them a scrub in a minute as well. You can see there that the tyres were still very brown. Now the difference here is between the tiers that I offer. For the basic tier, I will just do one clean, it's a clean of the tyres, but with the higher end cleans, I will clean them multiple times until the foam doesn't go brown anymore. Okay, so in a minute I'm going to bring this in a bit tighter so we can see some water behaviour. Now, this is just a snow foam and rinse, so this is 6 months later, and there is pretty good water repellency and sheeting ability on the doors, but the roof and the bonnet and the boot had pretty much nothing going on. So it's fairly typical in a sense that the wax is not failed but died in the areas where most of the contamination bonds there, so it might still be underneath. Let's see what the contact wash reveals. So it turns out not a lot of action going on there, right? I'm using built handle auto wash here, and that car is very dirty. Keep an eye on that rinse bucket, it will get dirtier and dirtier throughout this wash. Yeah, so I'm using a pure shampoo that's going to have no masking effects of the product underneath, in this case the Flex Wax. Let's see what happens when I rinse it off, because at the moment it might be hiding anything. But yeah, it didn't look bad, it was cleaning up nicely. It's just the roof, bonnet and boot didn't have much going on with them. But the wings and stuff still did, so it's obviously on the vertical surfaces doing all right. And I'm just reapplying some now. But keep an eye on this now, just watch the gloss that comes back as I'm buffing this off. It's incredible. I love the product. I think Flex Wax is a wonderful thing. Are you going to get 6 months out of it? Maybe out of a dry application, maybe a couple of coats, potentially. But it's very easy to apply, so even if you've got 3 months out of it, that's a good thing. It's still a great product in my book. part 2 of this build review, and now I can compare the difference between the model year 2017 and the model year 2021 interiors. I've got to say, I like the look of the new one a lot. I like the way they've moved the vents below the screen. I like the fact that it's now got the digital cockpit, which I think is lovely. The climate control features, they're touch sensitive buttons, not touch screen, rather than the rotary dials on the previous one. That's a bit of a downside. Carpet quality seems to be up, I would say. It was easier to get the dirt up. This is sand and it came out pretty well. I think those rear vents are bigger and better located. They've got independent controls now as well, and there's 2 USB-C ports in the back. That's pretty cool. Overall, I'd say the quality of this has gone up between the 2 generations. And the only downside, I would say, is that Alcantara-like material is like the seat bases. It's really holding on to the dirt. Like, that is going to need wet vacuum to really get it out. You can't brush it off as much as the other interior, but then there's a lot more that's the leather or faux leather insert, so they wipe down very nicely. You know, steering wheel's nicer. It's got a electrically adjustable driver's seat. I don't know if that's standard or part of a pack that's on this one. It's the FR, but I don't know if it's got an FR plus something. But it's the same trim level as the previous one, I believe. Anyway, cracking car. I think Seat are onto an absolute winner at the moment with their designs, and it's nice to see that the interior quality has increased as well as the exterior.